Sarah Breedlove, better known as Madam C.J. Walker, was born on December 23, 1867, on a cotton plantation near Delta, Louisiana. Her parents, Owen and Minerva Breedlove, and her 5 older siblings were born into slavery and worked on Robert W. Birney's Madison Parish plantation. Eventually, the family gained their freedom and started working as sharecroppers. Unlike her family, Sarah was born free, thanks to the Emancipation Proclamation of 1863. Sarah's early life was marked by hardships. In 1872, her mother sadly passed away, most likely from cholera, and just a year later, her father also died. At the age of 6, Sarah became an orphan and went to live with her older sister Lavinia and brother-in-law Jess Powell in Vicksburg, Mississippi. At the tender age of 10, Sarah began working as a domestic servant. She did not receive a proper education as a child, with her only exposure to literacy being Sunday lessons at her local church. She later mentioned that she had little to no opportunities when she started out in life. Sarah disliked living with her sister due to mistreatment from her brother-in-law, which led her to marry at the age of 14 in order to escape the abuse. Just 3 years later, at the age of 20, she became a widow after her first husband, Moses McWilliams, passed away. Sarah then took her daughter, Allie Leah, to St. Louis, where her brothers had established themselves as barbers. In St. Louis, Sarah worked as a laundress, earning just over $1 a day. In her free time, she sang in the choir of the St. Paul African Methodist Episcopal Church. She soon became determined to give her daughter a formal education and to become an educated woman herself. Thus, she began attending night school. A few years later, Sarah started experiencing hair loss, which was caused by skin disorders, harsh products, a poor diet, and lack of hair care. To improve her situation, she started experimenting with hair care treatments and home remedies. In 1894, Sarah married a man named John Davies, but they divorced approximately 9 years later. In 1904, she was hired as a commission agent by Annie Turnbow Malone. The products Sarah sold were targeted at the African-American hair care market. While working for Malone, Sarah started developing her own hair treatment products. In July 1905, at the age of 37, she moved to Denver, Colorado. There, she worked as a hairdresser and retailer of cosmetic creams after quitting her job as a commission agent. Sarah's former employer, Malone, accused her of stealing her formula, although the mixture had been around for hundreds of years. In January 1906, Sarah married Charles Joseph Walker, a salesman she had known from her time in St. Louis. Following the marriage, Sarah became known as Madam C.J. Walker. The couple promoted the business together, with Charles taking charge of advertising. One of their successful strategies was door-to-door selling. Slowly but surely, they taught other African-American women how to care for their hair properly. In 1906, Madam C.J. Walker's 21-year-old daughter, Alelia, was put in charge of the mail-order operation in Denver, while her mother and stepfather traveled throughout the South and Southeast, giving demonstrations of the Walker method in an effort to expand the business. The Walker method involved scalp preparation using special lotions and shampoos, as well as using custom-made pomades and iron combs for brushing the hair. This method promoted hair growth, improved scalp condition, and transformed weak hair into soft and strong strands. Despite facing competition in the market, Madam Walker's personal approach to sales won her loyal customers. Her saleswomen, known as beauty culturists or Walker agents, were successful in selling products by emphasizing the importance of health, cleanliness, and beauty. Soon, the Walker brand became well known in many African-American communities throughout the United States. As the business continued to expand, Madam Walker increased her staff and appointed many women to key management positions, which was uncommon at the time. She believed in empowering women and provided them with economic independence through commissions earned from selling her products. By 1908, Madam Walker and her husband relocated to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where she established Lelia College to train hair culturists and opened a beauty parlor, further expanding her business. Madam Walker's daughter, Alelia, played a significant role in the day-to-day operations of the company in Pittsburgh. The business continued to thrive, and in 1910, Madam Walker decided to establish her new base of operations in Indianapolis, which became the headquarters for her expanding business empire. She built a factory, opened more hair salons and beauty schools, and even purchased a new home. Her company, the Madam C.J. Walker Manufacturing Company, was making profits equivalent to several $1,000,000 in today's currency. Around this time, Alelia came up with the idea of establishing an office and beauty salon in New York City, as she saw the growing African-American community in Harlem. Within 3 years, Harlem became a thriving hub of African-American culture, and Madam Walker's products gained even more popularity. Her business continued to expand, and she employed thousands of people, many of whom were women. Madam Walker's company trained and empowered nearly 20,000 women, offering them a chance to become financially independent. Her sales agents, dressed in their distinctive uniform of white shirts and black skirts, visited homes across the country, selling a wide range of products. Through extensive advertising in African-American newspapers and magazines, Madam Walker's products reached a mass audience. Madam Walker's impact went beyond business success. She was dedicated to giving back to her community and worked tirelessly to improve the lives of African Americans and women. In 1917, she established the National Beauty Culturists and Benevolent Association of Madam C.J. Walker Agents, holding annual conferences to discuss business and commerce. She also donated substantial amounts of money to fund the construction of a YMCA building in Indianapolis, and supported educational scholarships and elderly homes. Throughout her life, Madam Walker fought for the rights of African Americans. She advocated for the establishment of a training camp for Black Army officers during World War I. She joined the Executive Committee of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP, and played a crucial role in organizing the Silent Protest Parade, which saw around 10,000 African Americans marching to protest lynchings and violence. Madam Walker's activism extended to her philanthropic endeavors. She donated $5,000, equivalent to around $75,000 today, to the NAACP's anti-lynching fund. Her dedication to social causes and her entrepreneurial success made her a prominent figure in the African American community and a symbol of hope and inspiration for generations to come. Madam C.J. Walker passed away on May 25, 1919, at the age of 51, due to complications from hypertension. Her legacy as an entrepreneur, philanthropist, and advocate for African American rights continues to inspire, and her contributions to the beauty industry paved the way for future generations of African American entrepreneurs.